in my gobstopper.
Strike that. Reverse it.
Nazi punks! Lick my plate! Drainage!
It'll be 10 minutes where it's like a Steven Soderbergh Ocean's 11 movie. It's all slick and funny and stuff. Then just the most horrific shit imaginable happen.
It's because that's what the fucking movie's about, you asshole.
This fucking guy.
The Tree of Life is freaking awesome.
I'm sure you think it is.
Faded to black.
Oh, you are fucking this up.
Beyond slime.
I said I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains in. Being a cinematique where I like, I like the sets and I like all that stuff.
What did you say?
Cinematique?
I don't know.
Jared Leto, man.
You're the worst, dude. If you ever listen to this, Jared Leto, you are the fucking worst. I'd rather watch that dude, the English dude who looks like he's not done yet.
So, hell, counselor! We are now in the 9th circle! The circle of traitors! Traitors to the country! Traitors to the fellow man! Traitors to God!
You look like a stunned mullet, mate!
A what?
This movie is the opposite of getting laid.
Thank you to all our listeners who have been listening to us for over a year now. Subscribe to us on Apple iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and any other platform that has podcasts. Visit our Patreon page, become a Patreon to get more additional content. Again, we appreciate you listening and keep watching those movies. Now, on with the show.
McLean, we live in a twilight world.
What? Are you kidding me? I just threw you out the window of the Nakatomi Plaza building in the middle of the greatest Christmas movie of all time, and you're standing back up on the edge of the window? What is happening?
Yes, cowboy. I am part of the blue team now. Christopher Nolan has rewritten this story. It came out in March during pandemic.
Hans! Where are the detonators?
Welcome to the party, pal. Yippee-ki-yay. Motherfucker.
Isn't that my line? Hans, why are you barefooted? What kind of fucking movie am I in? What is this?
TENET.
Two antagonists, Doug Wall and Lee Bridges, and another inverted, Garrick Lane. This is Tales from the Video Store number 92. Is it 92? 92. Was that good backwards? Was that good blue team?
I loved it.
All right, how we doing, guys?
Where's your oxygen mask?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna need it.
Is he inverted?
My ass is still.
You
I'm telling you,
inverted?
man, I need an oxygen mask. I'm still suffering from my my COVID from 40 days ago. I'm telling you, I'm still like struggling. I can't smell. Hey, I'm gonna tell everybody, our 6 listeners. I'm gonna tell everybody really something awesome that I would not tell anybody else. But I still can't smell. Okay? And 2 days ago, man, I'd done a lot of housework, and I was pretty rotten between the butt cheeks. And I was like, man, I still can't smell. I actually stuck my 2 fingers between my asshole, got a little bit of fluid on my fucking fingers.
Oh, wow!
Put it under my nose and still could not smell, not even a trace, man, of my nasty ass.
Have you washed your fingers since?
Yes.
Okay,
The
then we're
point
good.
is that's it's insanity. Like, I can't smell anything.
See, my taste and smell came back after a couple weeks.
It's funny, man. I might have told this. No, I didn't tell the story. I painted this big Grinch for my stepmother or my mother-in-law, and I was cleaning the brushes out in the sink, turpentine, and the kids are running through, going, "Oh my gosh, it's horrible! It's horrible! It's horrible!" And I realized it, and I put the brush up to my nose and was like, I can't even smell the turpentine. Like, it's insanity. I mean, I really can't. I can't smell anything.
Can you taste?
Yeah, but it's very...
Did you lick your fingers?
No.
Okay.
No, I didn't go that far.
Okay.
Now, when I had it, when I ate something, I could tell if it was I could tell if it was salty or not. But you couldn't taste anything else.
Right.
Like if you ate something like pork rinds, I could tell that they had a lot of salt on them, but the flavor would be nothing. It just tastes like mush.
Oh yeah, it's terrible.
It's the weirdest friggin' thing.
It is, man. I'm ready to be back to normal. But this show will be anything but normal because we're covering Christopher Nolan's something.
Tenet.
Yes, is that what it's
Like
called?
when I say it, I'm doing it in like the voice of Beavis. It's like, oh, Tenet. That's what I hear when I say it. I want to fucking punch myself in the face. Ugh.
Okay, so anyway, so we're going to do kind of a double thing this time. We're going to do Die Hard, which is probably all three of us, is, one of our favorite movies of all time.
It is.
Absolutely.
And it is a holiday.
And the exact opposite.
Yeah, Tenet was the exact opposite. Possibly. Well, what do we want to do first? Want to do the good or the bad first?
Let's do the bad first.
Let's do the bad first. All right, I'm going to be the guy. I'm going to be the Phantom Thread guy.
Cinematique.
It looked fantastic.
Amazing.
And it was almost like some of the stuff he did, I still want to know how he did it. Let's just get that out there. It was a brilliant idea. And Kenneth Branagh should actually get nominated. He was such a bastard. I loved him.
I think he was just playing himself.
Maybe. You're right. Well, I don't. Yeah, and you may be right.
But what you talk about with some of the shots, like I guess when they come back to the airport and everybody's moving backwards and they're moving forwards and it's all in the same frame, it just looks.
I don't know how he did it. I want to say that, and I haven't looked, and I should look, but I've been so busy. I want to say that they shot those guys on green screen and they actually just shot it normal action and then reversed it. But with Nolan, there's no telling how he did that. And even the fighting in the hallway when he's fighting himself, spoiler alert, I was really... So basically, I guess it's one of those movies where I was not impressed with the story. However, man, it looked fantastic.
So you're telling me there was a story?
No, okay.
I
don't...
Because I fucking missed it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But there were so many, like... It's just like a Nolan movie. Technically...
Flawless.
Yeah, flawless.
Agreed.
Flawless. But Inception, it is not. I don't know. I would like... Lee, why don't you start us off? Because I have a feeling you're going to hate it the most.
Can anybody tell me what the story is about? Can you lay it out in any kind of a way?
First, I found a pretty good review off Letterboxd.
Oh, yeah.
It's a 2.5-star review, and it just says, huh? And then, but wait, it gets better. In parentheses, he put, get it? It's a palindrome.
Wow.
Because and that's pretty much the movie. It's just like, it's about sort of time travel. It's about people who are sort of time traveling. Because apparently at some time in the future there was this time travel device, and then they broke it up and sent various parts back to various nuclear plants in the past. And future Kenneth Branagh knows he's going to die of cancer, so he gets present Kenneth Branagh to destroy the future. But even though there is a future Kenneth Branagh, you would think he knows he doesn't succeed because he's already in the future where the future has not been destroyed. Right?
I'm already
okay. I'm with you. Yeah.
I'm already
if I was gonna contact myself 10 years ago and tell him to destroy the world, the fact that I'm sitting there obviously means I didn't do it.
Right, you failed. Yeah.
Yeah, I failed.
Yeah.
So, and then Denzel's son, the whose character is literally called the protagonist.
Oh, I couldn't have hated that more. Ugh.
And New Batman's probably my favorite part of the movie. He's like the most human character. He
is.
And I don't know. It looks great. And actually, and I've bagged on Nolan's direction of action scenes. The action scenes are very well done. I mean, it's his best looking movie and probably his worst movie.
Yeah.
It's like
100% his worst
like I've said about J.J. Abrams. He knows how to build a mystery box. He just doesn't know how to open it. This movie's all mystery box and nothing, And when you open up, the mystery is that it's empty. What did you think, Doug?
That was you know what, Lee? That was a fantastic review, man.
It really was.
It really was a very intelligible. Yes,
It's much better than what I'm going to say.
Oh yeah, it's going to be much better. Well,
I appreciate that, Doug.
You guys have me on the show because I'm the unintelligible comments.
I mean, look, I give him credit 100% for even attempting this. I really do.
Nobody else would get to attempt this, though.
There's nobody else that I can think of who would even be afforded this opportunity.
Bet the studio execs were like, all right, you know what?
Just let him do it and we'll see.
It's Nolan. It's going to make us our money back. Just let him do it.
Because imagine him sitting there trying to explain Inception. About 30 seconds into the explanation, these guys are like, what the fuck am I having for dinner later? They're not listening to a word coming out of his mouth.
You're right.
And I think that the exact same scenario happened where he starts to delve into this and they're just like, all right, just write him a fucking check and get him out of here.
Send him on his way.
Man, I just felt like...
And
I felt like a fucking idiot watching it.
He was walking
and that's not how I ever want to feel when I'm watching a movie. It's like... You made this movie for yourself and nobody else. Because nobody else is going to ever understand it or be on the level that Nolan is in when he wrote this and then made it. He sees what it is. Anybody else on Earth that says, oh yes, I absolutely see it the exact same way, is a fucking liar. That's the way I felt about it. Pattinson, I thought was great. Brana was fine. John David Washington was fine. I didn't think any of them were over the top because I didn't care about any of their characters because there's zero character development. I didn't give a shit about... I didn't give a shit about anybody. If anybody would have died throughout this movie, I'd have been like, oh, I guess. And the ending, and as odd and as complex and convoluted as the entire story was, the ending made it even worse for me when Pattinson's like, oh yeah, we do all kinds of shit later and you're going to love all the shit we get into. None of it made any sense to me, man. It just made me sad. I tried to watch it with Oliver because he likes time travel and I thought that this would be something that he could get into. 35 minutes into it, he looked at me and he was like, great movie, Dad, and just rolled over on the couch and never looked back at the screen.
Wow.
Oh, that's terrible.
About the time that the bullet...
Dad, you suck.
Yeah, the time that the bullet shot out of the rock back into the gun, and then they gave like this really generic and odd explanation as to why this had happened. He was just like, no. He's like, that's the explanation? No. And I kind of get it. And I kind of felt the same way. And I wanted it to be something that I could wrap my head around at the end, like Inception. Because, I'll be honest, the first time I watched Inception, I was like, I think I know what's happening, but I'm really not fucking sure. I felt the exact same way in this, only times 1,000. Because eventually I feel like I have Inception. I understand what it is. This is something I will never understand. and I'm never going to try and understand. I will never, ever watch this movie again, under any
Because
circumstances.
Inception, you can at least say it's a heist movie that takes place in someone's mind.
Right. It's got a storyline.
There is no like way to sum this movie up to make it sound entertaining.
And even that nice little, like, his little payoff, his little fuck you to everybody with the little necklace thing that Patterson has on his bag at the end, and they realize that this, you start the whole thing over, where he was the one that saved him at the beginning.
I couldn't even.
This is one of those movies. I really, really wanted to like it.
More than anything.
I really did. When it comes down to it, it's.
This reminded me of, like, the second Matrix movie. It's like, the Matrix, I understand it. Okay, we're going to take the same concept, but we're going to completely just spin it in a way that nobody's going to be able to follow. And that's exactly what he did with this. It's nonsense, man. It's just fucking nonsense. And it makes you feel stupid when you watch it, that you can't follow the nonsense. Until finally at the end, I was like, thank Christ it's fucking over.
Yeah. It feels like homework.
It felt like a chore.
Yeah.
It was exhausting.
Yeah, man, and not in a good way. I mean, we've talked about movies like action or horror movies that wear you out, and you're just like, you feel like you're in it with these characters. This was just like, God damn, am I in a fucking algebra class in 1991? Yeah. That's what I felt like. Like, I don't understand what's happening.
Right. And there's a movie we covered a couple years ago called Time Crimes, which is structure-wise is very complex, but it's still a
Oh,
ridiculously entertaining movie.
Yes.
Absolutely. And you can follow it. As crazy as it is at the beginning, by the time we got to the end, we all knew exactly what had happened. Yeah. That never happened with this. I never got to a comfort level, where I was like, oh, there was never a light that came on. It was just all fucking darkness inside of my head watching this.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I hate it. I hate that that's the way that this came out. Like you said, Garrick, I wanted so badly to like this because I had read some things, and
it's Nolan. I mean, Nolan's delivered.
And that's why.
Night. He's delivered Inception, Memento.
Yeah.
He's delivered some of our favorites.
Yeah. And
it was an Interstellar for me. Kind of fucking wormhole, man.
But I like Interstellar.
I like Interstellar too, but it's the same thing. It's kind of it's a little convoluted. It worked. It worked a little bit better than this one. I don't know, man. This one was the how they got up to the Indian guy. I don't remember his name. That was fucking badass. How they walked the wall at the beginning. And I'm this is going to be great. There's going to be some cool stuff in here. And it just never, man, I don't know. It's one of those movies just kind of leaves you. It's kind of, we don't really talk sports on this, but TENET feels a lot like the New England Patriots this year. I had just so much, not real sure, we're in a losing season and we suck really bad. But, I'm not really sure why. This is that movie. I'm like,
because it's like, there's Belichick. It's the same director.
Right.
What the fuck's going on?
Cam Newton, last night, threw for 5 passes. Or 10 attempts, 5 actual completions for 34 yards. And I'm like, what is that? How is that even possible?
It's what happens when you put broken football players on your team.
Okay, fair enough. But so the point is it's like TENET passed for 22 yards on 30 attempts. Whereas Memento was, Drew Brees. I don't know. It's just, it just left me completely unopened. I don't know. I don't even know where if you could put Rotten Tomatoes. I know we don't like to do the ratings, but if you did a rating on this, where would it be? I think that I think mine would be an NA.
I can't rate it.
Right. I know you think I can rate it.
I'm not even sure it's a fucking movie, dude.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
I'm not sure what it is.
It is. It's a mystery box. That's what I'm saying. Like I couldn't tell you a percentage of where this movie is. Like I don't know.
I'll never watch it again.
Under any circumstances.
Yeah.
I tried to watch it again to see if I saw something that I missed, and I got 15 minutes in and said, you know what, I don't have the mental capacity for this.
I guarantee you could watch it 5 fucking times and probably come away with different nuances from every time you watched it.
Right.
But I'm not going to fucking do that, Nolan.
The worst thing I can say about it is when I was watching it, I didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
I didn't give a shit about any of it.
Nothing. I didn't care about the characters. The story was weird and I didn't care.
So Branagh has terminal cancer and he's just going to end the world because of it. That's the plot, essentially.
Yes, that's the plot.
Yeah.
And future Denzel's son, who is Branagh's boss in the future, has to send his younger self to stop it. I get, right?
If you say so. I mean, I'm done spending brain power trying to decipher this fucking code. I simply don't care. And I couldn't, as much as I love Nolan and I love, like, you know, somebody going out on the edge and trying something different, I can't imagine just your average moviegoer going to a fucking theater and sitting through that and being able to make it to the end. There's no fucking way I would have made it to the end if I would have gone to the theater and seen this. I would have at some point been like, you know what, I'm good. I already don't know where I am. Yeah, it's like, we're good here.
Well, at what point do you think you would have bailed out in the theater?
Oh, man. It wouldn't have been long in. I would have probably given it 45 minutes. About 45 minutes.
I'm going to argue against that. I think that if I would have been in a theater, maybe I would have enjoyed it more.
Oh, man.
Maybe. I may have.
If you'd have had to have gotten up and pissed, Garrick, the whole fucking thing is thrown out the window.
Maybe.
You can't miss anything. Like, I felt like I blinked. I felt like I blinked too much during the movie, and that's why I didn't understand it. I can't help that my eyes blink. Sorry, Nolan.
I went to see Inception. I went to see disclosure here. When my first wife and I split up, she left the house. 2 days later, I decided to go out, meet a girl, and be a single guy, right? Partied all night. We had a great time, blah, blah, blah. Went to a couple of parties. I was hungover as hell that night that I went to see Inception, and I was like, this is a bad idea. And I sat in the theater, and I really was like, I just didn't feel good. And I watched that movie, and it was awesome. But it captured, because it's the black, you got the great sound, you got a black, dark place to watch it. I don't know, where I'm going with this is that I was in my worst mood ever when I saw Inception, and it was fantastic. I don't know if sitting on my sofa with my son talking and asking me questions the whole time, if that took away from
Garrick,
the experience.
you could have been in the fucking Clockwork Orange with the fucking eyeball locks.
With a bag of mushrooms in my belly.
It wouldn't have mattered. There's no kind of scenario where this ends up a good movie.
Felix the Cat Acid would not make this movie any better.
It's like when people tell me if you didn't see Avatar in 3D, then you won't enjoy it. Like I said, if you can't enjoy it as a movie, then it's not a movie.
Right.
Right.
I mean, it's like there are movies like Mandy and other films we've talked about that are very complicated, are very complex, story-wise and artistically, but they're still very enjoyable movies.
Yeah.
And this is not an enjoyable movie. Like, say if you were sort of confused the first time you watched Inception, you still wanted to watch it again. You wanted to know more. You wanted to understand.
Right.
I don't care. If Christopher Nolan knocked on my door right now and said, "Would you like me to sit there and walk you through Tenet and explain it all to you?" I'm like, Chris, I ain't got that kind of time to burn.
Sorry.
I'm gonna watch Begin at Bernie's too.
Yeah.
However, I can still watch Inception.
Oh, absolutely. Inception is great.
I mean, I can still watch. It's one of those movies you can pop in any time and be like, you know, it's
Memento is in my top 5 of all time. I absolutely love it.
Hey, Inception has Elliot Page in it.
This is a fact.
I wonder if they're gonna have to change all the new like when they burn out the new 4Ks, if they're gonna change all those names. And that's strange.
Who really knows?
I
Man?
know. I'm telling you. That's a mystery
side
box
question.
in itself.
Who gives a shit?
Hey, hey, we need some Tenet. We need to reverse, and we need. That's a whole other mystery box.
And what the fuck was Tenet?
What do you mean?
Exactly.
All right. I don't know.
I mean, but it's like you have that guy, and he's like Tenet is, it's the phrase. Never fucking came up again. What the fuck is it? You win, Nolan. You fucking win, asshole.
You know.
Like, what the fuck is it? What was it? What the fuck, man?
Right.
God, man, I was so fucking.
I would like to have been at the premiere when Denzel Sr. is sitting next to Denzel Jr. and that movie
What
ends.
the fuck is this, son?
I think that Denzel Sr.'s critique of that movie would probably be America's critique. He'd probably kind of be like, "All right, son, well, you work for Nolan. That's good to go." That's it. Like, what else? I mean, I just don't know, man. I don't know. But didn't it get good? It got decent reviews.
Did it?
I mean, did it? I mean, it's.
I think it's kind of like,
Excuse me.
Like Dark Knight Rises reviews.
Right, it's like if a famous, designer comes to like a French show, like a modeling show, and brings models out wearing trash bags. Inevitably, somebody's going to give it a great review because of the name of the fucking designer. But the fact of the matter is, they're wearing fucking trash bags, and that's Tenet. It's a fucking trash bag.
Fair enough. And it's unreviewable.
It's unreviewable, it's unlikable, it's unwatchable.
It's unreviewable.
And the worst of all, it is. I mean, it's not. It's like watching is not that the movie's not fun, but the experience of watching it is not fun.
It's a negative.
It's
a negative. I felt worse at the end than I did when I started. I was in a great mood, and at the end, I just held my head in my hands, and I just thought, man, why? Why, Nolan? Why? And here's the thing, though, about Christopher Nolan, and I think you'll both agree. I won't hold this against him.
No.
Because I like too much of what he's done otherwise to let this drag down his reputation for me. But I'm not going to be super geeked up for his next one, like I was for this.
If I had access to the Tenet machine, I would send back a message to Christopher Nolan in time before he wrote this movie that you don't have to be the Stanley Kubrick of action movies.
Yeah.
No one expects that of you, and no one gives a shit if you're not.
Yeah.
Fair enough on that. Fair enough on that. Well, all right, so as opposed to Die Hard.
Now let's get into something that.
Right, so we were going to do a double holiday. We did Fat Man, and then we're going to do a double holiday to get us through the year. And we got a little bit behind Christmas, everything else, and so now here we are doing Die Hard as the second
Christmas movie.
Yeah,
Sure.
Christmas movie. It's. I mean, where do you start? It's. I think honestly, it's the now, and I love Predator. There's been plenty of great ones. Red Dawn, all that stuff's great. This one is The hero in this movie is the most normal and is the most relatable to me. I mean, like Schwarzenegger showing up as a Green Beret in the middle of the jungle,
Right.
hunting an alien. This, like, John McClane could be any of us. Barefooted, okay, he's a cop, but he's, he's a smoking cop. He's funny, and I guess this one is so good because he really barely makes it. He barely gets through it. And I think that's what I love so much about Die Hard.
Okay.
It's like the normal guy. I mean, it's not Schwarzenegger showing up with a cigar going, we have 5 terrorists. It's just the guy who showed up to see his wife. And I don't know, man, it was great. Every bit of this movie there's not one part of this movie I don't like.
I will agree with you on that. But
it's perfect.
I think at the time that this came out, I admit I was a fan of the TV show Moonlighting.
As was I.
And I already loved fucking Bruce Willis.
He's got the charisma.
I wanted to be him. And then watching him in this crazy action movie, it was the epitome of everything I wanted a movie to be. It had at the time, my favorite, Hollywood guy in it. An amazing cast, an amazing story, amazing action. Everything about it is fucking perfect. Would I look back on it the same way had I not had such an affinity for Bruce Willis at the time? I don't know. I can't say one way or the other. But it certainly helps. And nowadays when I hear these horror stories about him and how much of a fucking asshole he probably
wasn't an asshole then.
I just like to think at that time that this was before
the assholeness.
Before, I guess, the fame got to him, if you want to say. And that he was more like John McClane than not. And I think that's another reason why, I just hold on to this movie. And I always will. It's quintessential Bruce Willis. I would not put anything else that he's ever done above this.
No.
He's just perfect. Just perfect.
Yeah. And it's not just him, it's the script. The script is perfect. The thing with the making the fist for your toes, and that's why he's barefooted. And, John McTiernan was just in 3 years, he directed Predator, Die Hard, and The Hunt for Red October. 3 years in a row. I mean, that is unbelievable.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
Jan de Bont, the cinematography looks perfect. Everything about the movie it's like a jigsaw puzzle. Every piece fits perfectly.
Yeah.
It's like the opposite of Tenet. Tenet is technically perfect, but all the pieces don't fit together, and you just hate it.
Yeah.
Whereas this, all the pieces fit together perfectly, and it's just it's amazing. And I've seen it, from 88 till now, I can't even, it's probably close to 100 times.
At least. I'm in the same boat with you, Lee. At least 100
Yeah.
times. One of the best villains ever.
Oh, yeah.
Hans is just the best.
It never gets... It's as good. Rivers Not Here, watched it, loved it.
How do you watch it and not?
Yeah. He's like, wow. I'm like, yeah, that's... And even there, even the youngsters don't... They can't look at that movie. There's no bad effects. You know what I mean? It's all real. It's all perfect.
Yeah. Ellis, Jesus Christ. Ellis, the most unlikable character just about any movie of all time. We've talked about this.
But he's the best.
But he is the best at being the worst.
At the worst.
Yeah, exactly. Even the douchebag characters, he's what you should do when you write an unlikable character. Because Ellis is worst.
Yeah, just sitting there watching him, and he's when he's on the phone with McClane, and he's trying to kind of get this thing going, and just the look on his face, I sat there, I was like, God damn, I hate that guy, but I love him too.
Right.
And that stupid look he has on his face when he's drinking the Coke right before they shoot him.
Yeah.
Just he looks like such an asshole.
Yeah. And he is.
Yeah.
We've all met an Ellis.
Oh, yeah.
at some point in our life.
Oh, sure.
And, you know, I always put a face of somebody, you know, watching him squirm and then get shot in the face. I mean, you know. Ellis, the best of the worst.
Yeah.
Best.
But like this one, like even like the blonde guy, he's like, you know, just like the perfect henchman in a movie. Like, he doesn't really have that much dialogue, you know, but even they give him something, like when his brother gets killed, they give him like a motivation.
Yeah.
Like, the movie's just perfectly constructed.
Yeah.
Basically, everybody has a storyline and they all pay off.
Yes.
You know, the reporter, you know, I mean, the dad from Family Matters.
Argyle.
Yeah, because he's like, he tells that story about how he got demoted because he shot somebody.
Yeah.
Now he doesn't pick up his pistol. And then he ends up, you know, doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
It's a classic that will never... It will never die, as far as I'm concerned. Like, one of my in the top 5 favorite action movies, no matter what. I don't.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I don't care whatever comes out after today. There's just certain ones that are they're perfect, and I don't think it has as much to do. You know, we talk a lot of times about, you know, the time that it came out, you know, in the 80s or whatever, and that's why. I mean, dude, it's perfect. And I don't think it has anything to do with really the time that it came out.
Because really, with the exception of some of the female actors' hairdos, there's really nothing that dates it.
Right.
Other than maybe the size of the cell phones. You know.
Yeah.
But, I mean, really, it's still pretty contemporary.
Yeah.
You know.
Which you don't expect to see in a movie that's...
No.
30 years old or whatever.
No, like, a movie that I also like very much, Commando, has dated way more than Die Hard ever will.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So what did River think of? Like, what, he loved it?
Yeah. Yeah, he thought it was great. He's like, man, it was intense. He thought it was great. He didn't give me much. I didn't ask for much, but he was like, oh, it was great.
Nice.
He also liked TENET, but I think that he was full of shit. I think he was just, because it's Nolan, he's like, he really wanted to enjoy it.
Like we all did.
Right. So, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
So, all right, well, what else did we watch, guys?
Short list this week.
Yeah, not much.
Short list. But I did watch a couple of things.
Okay.
First thing that I watched is, goddamn, Wonder Woman 1984. I mean, look, man. Similarly to Tenet, I had exceptionally high expectations for this movie because I thoroughly enjoyed the first Wonder Woman movie. I thought it was really well done. I thought it was a cool story. I love Gal. This, as much as I loved the first Wonder Woman, I equally hated this one. It is fucking horrible.
There was an hour and 10 minutes of nothing besides a stone who I guess was a genie giving out 3 wishes. What the fuck?
So I'm assuming you watched this as well, Garrick?
Yes. I watched it with the kids. And, man, I had all sorts of problems with that thing. I mean, some of the cinematography was terrible. It was very grainy. It was very terrible. Did you notice that?
The special effects were so bad.
It was terrible.
All of it. That if your special effects look this bad, don't use them. Because it looked like... It just looked like garbage, man. Nothing about it was visually appealing.
Yeah, the whip was horrible.
Oh, dude. Every time she ran and jumped, I was like, oh, goddamn, man. Really? Why does that look like a mid-'80s like kung fu movie? Like, where you can almost see the strings hanging off of her hips. It was just god-awful, man. No excuse for a movie that big with that kind of budget in 2020 to look as bad as it did.
I agree.
And I love, what's her name, Kristen Wiig?
I was getting ready to say, the only good thing about that movie is they created, or they let the whole world see how fine Kristen Wiig can be. And how awesome she can be.
Oh, she was great.
She was fantastic.
She was great until a certain point.
Sure, but
and then you just want her to go away,
her
like everything else.
Her transformation and what they did with her and everything that happened with her was...
It was the only thing...
It was the only thing I cared about.
It was the only movie thing in the movie.
Yeah, right.
The rest of it just...
And even she renounced her wish. I'm like, no, you're Cheetah. You don't renounce your wish. Pedro Pascal.
Look, dude. I thought I liked him as an actor.
Dude.
I can't look at his fucking face ever again. Thank Christ he's got a helmet on in The Mandalorian or I'd have to fucking stop watching it.
This is where I'm going.
He is the weirdest looking dude.
Man,
oh my
Game
God.
of Thrones, he was nice and skinny and he's cut.
He looks so crazy in this,
yes,
man.
He looks terrible. He's gained a bunch of weight. It's terrible.
Oh my God, Lee, it's one of the worst things I've ever seen.
See, I'm gonna go ahead and before I talk to you guys about it, I wasn't planning on watching. I'm just gonna go ahead and skip it now.
Yeah, you should definitely skip it. It's.
And I thought the first one was okay. I didn't love it, but it was, It
was better
good.
than I thought it was going to be, and I guess that's why my expectations were raised to a certain level. Only to just have the legs kicked out from under them, and then get my groin stomped in and my teeth knocked out, because that's how I felt watching this.
Oh yeah. Well, we don't have many women listeners, so this is how I felt about that movie.
I'm surprised we have any after all the shit we've talked.
Well, every now and then something would happen, and you'd hear the dun 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 dun, and I would be on the sofa going, yeah, and then nothing would happen. So it's almost like you're with this chick, and every now and then she's touching the prick, and it's like dun, and then she's like, I gotta go to the bathroom. Ruins it all.
That's one way to put it, sure.
That's it. That's how that movie was.
So you're saying the movie's a cock tease?
Yes, it is. Yes, 100%. It's like you would get 2 minutes of, oh, it's going to be good. Here it comes. This is where, like, you're waiting for it to be good. And it just never, it just gives you, like, here's a glimmer, here's a glimmer, here's a glimmer, and then it ends.
Well, let me ask you a question about some things that happen in this. So there comes a point where Chris Pine, who has been dead for what,
50 years,
60 fucking years, whatever.
60 years. Yeah.
Shows back up, and he tries to be like, I guess, like the comedy relief, but it was just so fucking odd. Everything about them bringing him back, the way he was brought back, it was a waste of fucking time, because you knew that this wasn't going to work.
Right.
And they just dragged it into, like, the heart of the movie for, like, a fucking hour.
Correct.
Okay, when he's there, and there's that scene where they're on that road, and she, I guess, doesn't have her powers. How is she able to do the shit that she does without her powers? Like, she can be shot, but she's still, like, super strong and doing all this stuff. Like, they hedged on it. Like, in Superman, when he walks in and fucking gives up his powers, he is a fucking human being, and he gets the shit kicked out of him in a scene that I cried at the first time I saw it.
Right.
And then, he's fucking Superman again. She never...
Did they even mention that?
She never gets that weakness.
Right.
And that human...
And even the blood on her was fake.
That level of, like, humanity was never, like, even at her weakest, she's still way better than everybody else and way stronger and all this. And I thought that was just, it's poor storytelling.
Right. You're
right. And the end, like, the whole thing about this stone and these wishes and all this fucking, it's garbage, dude.
Yep.
It's just, It's as poorly a written movie as I can remember watching.
It could have been great because I really did enjoy at the end when everybody is wishing for something better.
Yeah.
And they're losing what they're wishing for.
Sure.
And she's talking to everybody. That was the only good moment. The theme of America and how people are, how entitled people are, it was so good, but unfortunately, like, the delivery was fucking terrible.
And by that point, I had already checked out and was just like not even paying attention
anymore. That would have been so good had you just done that right.
Or maybe done it an hour earlier.
Right.
You know, or whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
every fucking movie about a superhero does not have to be 2.5 fucking hours long.
Nope.
If they would just stop doing it, movies like this would stop happening.
Fair enough on that too.
Yeah. And the cheetah, like at the end when she becomes the cheetah, why did it look so fucking terrible? Again, like, who's the fucking graphic? Who's the...
DC's behind the times when it comes to comic movies. I have no idea why.
I just don't know why it has to look so bad. It makes no sense.
I don't know.
They've got fucking plenty of money. It's the same goddamn thing that happened in the Justice League. It looked like a fucking terrible movie.
Yep.
And therefore it was.
Amelia Clark rode dragons in an HBO special. Why? And it looked real. Why can't they make Kristen Wiig look like a cheetah? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I saw something like they're trying to fast track a Wonder Woman Part 3. Don't. Don't fucking do it.
It's a quick rematch because you got knocked out in the second round.
Oh, God, man.
Jeez.
Fucking putrid. It's the worst movie I watched in 2020. And that's saying something. Because I've watched some shit.
Capone. There's no way Capone was...
I challenge you to watch Capone and tell me that it's a worse movie than this.
All right. I will.
You won't make it.
Okay.
Because it's fucking bad, too. But, I mean, for such a large, I guess... You know, we've been waiting on this movie for 3 years. Or however.
I like TENET. Oh, I can't wait. Oh, I can't watch it in the theater.
Maybe it's our fault that we just set expectations too high.
Maybe marketing's really good and delivery is really bad.
I don't know.
Well, what else did you watch? Let's get off this.
Okay, so I was feeling like, man, I want to feel like I used to feel when I first started watching these kind of superhero movies. So I went to the one that I feel like was the kind of start of all this, the original Batman.
Woo!
And I just wanted to see if I still loved it like, you know, I did the last time I saw it.
He's been using Brand X.
And everything about it is fucking perfect. The music, the fucking look, the feel, everything about it is perfect. Nicholson is... Like, people can say that Heath Ledger's the Joker, or they can say that somebody else is, or fucking douchebag McFucknut Island Boy is the Joker. There's only one. He's that good, dude. If you go back and watch it, he's that fucking good.
He is, absolutely.
Just some of the shots, like at the end of him speaking, and he's just looking around and just does some kind of quirky little weirdness that you really don't even pay attention to. When I watched it this last time the other night, I was just amazed. I was like, man, I'm gonna fucking lose my shit when he dies, because he's probably my favorite actor of all time. Everything about him, man, always probably the coolest fucking dude in the room. And I couldn't help but watch before he turned into Joker. I was, watching Nicholson. I was like, damn, I wish he would have been in some of these fucking like late 80s, early 90s like gangster movies. Like how good he could have been in some of these like roles that went to like Pacino and these other guys. Like he would have been like, think of how amazing he would have been in Goodfellas, or as Paulie, or in like, I don't know. Just off the top of my head, like, I just wish he would have had the opportunity to be that role more often, because I thought he was exceptional.
Well, he was exceptional in The Departed.
Sure,
And
but
he was-
that's that. I'm talking,
Right.
but that's I'm talking more. Early
In his
'90s.
prime.
Yeah, I just think that people really missed out on him, and maybe he just didn't want to do it. But man, he could have. I mean, he was like the I was looking at him like, that's a fucking gangster, dude. Like, look at that, and just the way he talked, and he's sitting there like playing with the cards and shit, and he just everything about him screamed like,
Who do you trust? Hubba, hubba, hubba. Brilliant.
Yeah.
I watched that too.
I mean, this was a movie I went and saw at the movie theater. In was it 88 or 89?
9.
89, Myrtle Beach.
I was 14 and I was like,
I was
this is the fucking coolest shit I've ever seen.
Yeah. I was 10 years old, and you remember when they used to do official movie magazines?
Yes.
And it was just like, and I had the Batman official movie magazine. And my mom, I remember we were somewhere, and we had planned on going that day. And I'm like 10, and my mom was talking to somebody, one of her friends. She goes, maybe we'll go to the movies today. And I turned around and said, no, we're going to the movies today.
Yeah.
After we live here, we're going to see Batman. And I was just like, it's like you can't improve upon it. I mean, it's just,
It's like Ghostbusters.
Like you could say that, what's that?
It's like Ghostbusters from that time. It's like,
Exactly.
it just, everything about it works. The sequel, I enjoy it. I actually kind of like it quite a bit, but it can never be as good as the original.
No. Because we've never seen it. I mean, like I've seen the Superman movies on TV, but I didn't see them in the theater.
Right.
Like Superman 1 and 2.
It was the first movie where people stood up at the end and clapped.
Yeah.
That was
the first movie where people went to go see a movie because of the trailer. People like in late 88 were going to see movies just to see the Batman trailer.
Yeah. It was the biggest fucking thing, yeah.
Yeah.
And the amazing part is there was no green screen. There was no there was some small digital effects, but most of that stuff was practical.
Oh, yeah.
Outside of him
Or
falling at the
stop
end
motion.
and how bad it looked, like nothing else looked bad in that movie.
No.
It's a good one. A damn good one.
And that's Tim Burton's third movie.
Yeah.
My grandparents had a condo in North Myrtle, and I skateboarded to Briarcliff Mall and went and watched that one. Oh, so good.
Yeah.
They don't make them like that.
Hey, guess what? It wasn't 2.5 hours fucking long.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
They just don't make them like Die Hard and Batman. They just don't make them that way anymore. They don't.
Well, some people do, and some people will. We just got to get the right guys in there. We've got the wrong guys working right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't get the whole some guy or woman makes a small indie movie, and then they get their second movie is a $200 million comic book movie.
Yeah.
Like I said, this was Tim Burton's third movie, but at the same time, he was an animator. He knew about effect. He knew about how to make a movie like this. He didn't make like Bridges of Madison County, and then they hired him to make Batman.
Yeah.
Or whatever. You could see from like Pee-wee's Big Adventure to Beetlejuice to this. Oh yeah, that guy could make a Batman movie.
Yes.
And like people I can't remember the lady's name who directed Birds of Prey. That should not have been like her second movie.
Hey, wait. He did Edward Scissorhands as well, though. Wasn't that before?
But that was in '90, wasn't it?
I thought that was before Batman. I may be wrong, man. I may be wrong. My timeline may be wrong. But either way, you're right. Like, he had made these small movies, but they were...
But they were also very successful.
Yes.
So it wasn't like he was some guy who like nobody had ever heard of. Like, Beetlejuice was a huge hit comedy.
Yeah.
And like he was a successful director, and you could see him getting picked to be Batman. These people who are getting picked to make these big movies, like they made some movie who gets showed at Sundance that no one's ever seen, and all of a sudden they're doing, insert a comic book movie here. I don't get it. They seem to have no interest in comic books or genre filmmaking in general. That's I don't it just seems it seems weird that they would. I understand they've taken it because it's helps their career, and obviously I'm sure the money's pretty good, but I couldn't imagine directing a movie I didn't have really that much interest in.
Right.
And in a lot of those movies, it does show. Whereas you could tell Tim Burton, he was dialed in to like Batman and the Joker.
Oh yeah, and it has the signature style.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's
parts of it are very funny.
Oh, it's awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like movies like now have no personality.
Yeah, it's fucking great. Dude.
For how many years did you and I replay some of Jack's best quotes? You know, he's been using my number one. I mean, come on.
That's immediately what I thought of when that scene came on. I was like, Jesus Christ, Garrick has grabbed me so many times by the shoulders and said, remember, you are my number one guy. I just, yeah.
Antoine got a little bit hot under the collar. Yeah. I mean, dude, come on.
All of it, man.
Yes.
All of it is, it's one
correct.
of those, it's in my DNA, dude. I'll always love this movie. And I love a lot of Tim Burton's movies. I like his fantastical stuff, like Beetlejuice and Edward Scissorhands. But this is my favorite. Because he toned it back enough.
Yeah.
He toned back his propensity.
Yeah, because he realized that, unlike Christopher Nolan, it wasn't about him.
Right.
Well,
his propensity to go fucking crazy and do all this like overtly quirky shit, he backed that up, man. And he let the actors act. He let the story tell itself. And that's why it's classic. That's it.
Well, amazingly enough, his autobiography, he really got pressure. I mean, he had a lot of pressure from the studio. And there was he didn't want, obviously after Batman Returns, he's like, I'm not doing another one of these. Fuck you guys. I mean, and because he had a lot of pressure.
Who did the third one?
Schumacher.
Schumacher.
It was Schumacher. Why was Schumacher trying to make it look?
Probably because studio said you got to keep it close.
God. Because I was like, oh my God, this is what Tim Burton could have done to this. Thank Christ he didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, those weird lights and everything. I mean, just a fucking nightmare of a movie.
And I was watching this documentary about the making of it. They were talking about how, like, at one point, Warner Brothers was just going to fire him. And because the movie was going to be so expensive, and like they were just going to like Tim, they're like, we can get somebody else. And Nicholson was like, look, listen, this is the guy we went with. I'm sure you interviewed a lot of other directors, but this is our guy. Mm-hmm. And if you didn't want him to make it, you probably shouldn't have hired him. He goes, and if he goes, I go. And like they were like, well, I mean, that time Nicholson was the biggest star in the world, Yeah. And,
right, Keaton, and Burton had pull with Keaton for Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
And Alec Baldwin had done the same thing to Tim on Beetlejuice. It's like, I don't understand this. I don't get the vision and this and this and this. And Michael Keaton's like, trust me, he's got it. And that was a huge success.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was great.
Yeah.
But Alec Baldwin, he was really a problem where he was called his agent. He wanted off, and
I'm pretty sure Alec Baldwin didn't let the fame get to him. I'm pretty sure he was always a cunt.
Yeah, exactly. So, if you went back to 1982 when he was working at a hamburger stand, he was probably known as the douche of the job.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
He's still good though. I'm still watching.
In some things, yes, he has.
Garrick, Glenn Ross.
Yeah,
he's great.
The fucking coffee down. I mean, David Mamet probably didn't even direct him in that. He's just like, just go up there and read this.
Just be yourself, asshole.
Yeah. I just need you to talk about the steak knives and the car and fire you.
Yeah.
That's it.
Third prize is you're fired.
Yeah, third prize is you're fired.
Yeah.
What a good movie. What a good part. Okay, anyway, we're running late. What else we got?
That's all I watched.
Okay, so hey, I'm gonna save us some time because that's what I watched.
Because you watched Tenet, Die Hard, Wonder Woman, and fucking Batman.
Yes. The only thing I will say, the only extra thing I've got is I watched The Mandalorian.
Ah, okay. Lee, have you had a chance to...
I've watched about halfway through the second season.
Okay.
Okay, so never mind. So we will wait for next week.
We can't really talk about it until you're ready.
I can't really talk about that. I did watch another great action movie from the 80s, maybe the 90s, Cliffhanger. Loved it.
Oh, yes. Okay. Dizzying. I went and saw that in the theater and was like holding on to my fucking seat, I remember.
Crazy.
I remember being nauseated watching it. And then, you know, I've watched it, you know, at home several times since then, and I'm like, this isn't that bad.
But you know the guy, when the guy zip lines from one plane to the other, that stuntman got paid $1 million.
To do that?
Yeah.
Nice.
CGI was in its infancy then. The only way to do it was to do it. And you know, when you do a stunt, you get paid to be there, but also you get a bump per stunt, depending on how difficult it is.
Right.
Get set on fire, $5,000. Crash your car, $7,000. We go one plane for another. He's like, I gotta have $1 million. He's like, well, if I fall, I'm dead. And I think that is still the most a stuntman's ever been paid.
Nice.
That's awesome. What a good footnote. That's great. Really? That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Lithgow, that movie, his character, I had it written down and then I turned the page, but maybe one of the best. That's the movie where he's like, you kill 2 people, you're called a murderer. You kill 10,000, you're called a conqueror. Go figure. Yeah. I mean, he's just a bastard. I love it. And then real quick, let me squeeze this one in. So anyway, I was watching the last Rambo, and I called Doug, and I said, did you give this a bad review? Like, I feel like you gave it a bad review. And he's like, no, I thought it was awesome. The last Rambo may be my favorite of the 4. It was so good. Okay, I'm sorry. Actually, wasn't my favorite of the 4. But it was so good.
Hold on. I think this is the 6th one.
Is it?
I'm not sure.
No, there was First Blood.
It's the 5th one.
Really? 5?
1, 2, 3, Rambo and Rambo Last Blood.
Okay, so I don't think I've watched 3 or 4. So
3, he fights with the Taliban against the Russians. You can skip 3.
Yeah, he's riding horses with the Taliban.
So I've only seen First Blood and Rambo 2.
And you didn't watch...
I like quite a bit.
You didn't watch the one that came out a couple of years ago?
No.
It's got some amazing violence in it.
Yeah.
This one had some amazing violence. And the fact, and this is spoiler, that she dies, the only thing that I'm going to complain about is they would have killed him in Mexico. Not real sure why they didn't.
Because he's a fucking 70-year-old man.
Right. But...
I guess. I don't know.
I guess that was part of the script, but why would... They could have... I don't know. So, as a writer, I want to sit there and go, well, they could have bypassed that whole scene.
Well, because it's Stallone writing it for himself, Garrick.
Okay.
That's what the script said, Garrick.
Yeah, that's why. Stallone shows up and he's like, yeah, we got to do this. It's in the script. Well, you wrote it. But shut the fuck up. Of course I did.
The violence in that movie is ridiculous.
When they get to the house,
oh dude,
and the caves and the doors 5 to 1 is blaring throughout these caves, and he's just going around doing all this shit.
And that one dude gets the 2.
Is the best. I mean, I was not expecting that level of. I don't know what. I just thought it was really slickly done. I thought it was really cool.
Absolutely.
I was like, damn, Stallone, I hear you, dude. And then at the very, when he gets to the last guy and how he does that whole thing was perfect.
Yeah, I have not been so physically uncomfortable on a sofa in a long time. When he digs that dude's collarbone.
Oh yeah.
Trying to get. I am physically jumping around on the sofa, oh my god! And I've got the surround sound on, so it's of course
it's rumbling.
Yes. Oh. It was
You
really
should watch
good.
4 and tell us what you think.
What's that?
Find the 4th one and watch it. Trust me.
It's just called Rambo.
Because, it starts slow.
Maybe that's the one you watched and that you reviewed badly. So then when I was watching last week...
Dude, I like them both, man. I'm pretty sure,
Maybe I'm just having a fart.
Towards the end of Rambo, he gets on this hill with this fucking 50 caliber
It just turns the guy into hamburger.
Machine gun, and I mean, he is just blasting these dudes just to shreds. It's glorious.
Wow.
You know, and
turns it around on a guy.
Yeah, it is like, it's one of those where I was like, it's going to have some violence, but it's like over the top. You're just like, holy shit, look at this fucking going down.
The first one is like Italian cannibal movie violent.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's people just being shredded and exploding.
Oh, okay, sure. Okay. Well, even the Last Blood, there was like some vicious freaking deaths, and the way they do it with the sound and what he was doing, like, man, yeah.
So what happens at the very end?
What he caught? Does he die?
I don't know. Does he?
I don't know. If they should have, if I would have been directing it, and I would have been able to tell Sylvester what I wanted him to do, he would have been rocking. They would have had that close up of the rocking chair rock, and then it would just stop. And you'd had like 30 seconds of quiet, and then you would have gone to that cool recollective freaking montage.
The montage.
Yes. That's what I would have done. Did he die? Yes, of course he had to die, right? They didn't do it well if that's what he was doing. Or did they leave it hanging for the last blood?
I don't know. Did he get on a horse and ride off at the end? Because I can't remember. I'm confused.
He just killed a bunch of Mexicans.
And then he sits on the porch, right?
Yep.
Okay.
When he's done.
Okay.
Yep.
Still, though, it's exactly what I expected and wanted, and it even exceeded my expectations a little bit, violence-wise. And I know it got panned for that. People were like, oh, it's violent, but it's shit. And I'm like, well, what the fuck do you want? It says Stallone Rambo on it.
Right.
Did you miss the other ones? Like, you know.
And I hate to spoil it, but the fact that she dies, like, you know.
You already did that a few moments ago.
Right, so she dies, and that sets all that up. And it's like great. Like, I don't know.
I did not expect it.
Right. Everything bad that could happen happened. And then he's like, all right, so now motherfuckers, come on. And I mean, like, he goes back and gets the brother. I mean, and they did it so well. He walks into the bedroom, shower, you hear the shower, he's in the shower. And then they just cut. The police come in.
Yeah.
They come out, and he's got the picture stat, and his head's cut off. And I'm like, oh my god, like this is insane. What is this? Oh my god, it was great.
Yeah.
All right, I'm done.
Okay. Lee,
I can go on.
Did you watch anything?
The only thing I watched. I rewatched The Prestige to watch Tenet out of my eyes. Which that's my favorite. I think that's my favorite Nolan movie.
Yes, I think it is mine too. Inception's a very close second, but I really do like The Prestige. The fucking.
I love everything about The Prestige.
All of it's great.
Okay, I'm confused on which magician movie it is. Is it the one?
Not the one with Edward Norton.
Okay, which was
Christian
called
Bale, Hugh Jackman one.
Okay.
Hugh Jackman and
they came out at the same time.
They did, and I'll forever entwine them. I know that movie, but it's been some time since I've seen it. Maybe I need to revisit it.
Maybe you do.
Yeah. To wash Tenet out of my eyes.
But that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
That's all you've done.
I haven't finished watching The Mandalorian yet, so I'll get to that next week.
Okay. You liking it so far?
Oh yeah, loving it so far.
Yeah, it's something.
Yeah.
You know.
All right, quick moment. Is Coming to America 2 going to be just what the doctor ordered?
Yes. You want me to tell you why?
Absolutely.
Do you want me to tell you why?
I've watched the trailer like 10 times.
When I saw Eddie Murphy dressed up as the old white Jew in the barbershop, I knew that I was going to like this movie. Because to be able to do that and to really like bring back all these characters and make it what it was, which is one of his best roles. I love that fucking movie. I'll always love the original. I really think that this is going to be very, very good. And I hate that it took 30 fucking years. But I still think it will be very good. Because it looks like Eddie Murphy being fucking Eddie Murphy again.
And the trailer made me laugh.
Yes. which I didn't
And
expect.
it's the same crew that did the last one, so.
Oh yeah, same directors, Dolomite. Yep.
I mean,
I
Wesley
think,
Snipes, it's all of them. I think it's going to be fantastic.
yeah, I don't know what he's done, this director, to kind of bring out Eddie Murphy again. But man, I love it. I love it.
Well, I saw an interview with him. Time he said he only had fun shooting 2 movies, 48 hours, and Trading Places.
Yeah.
He said everything else has been work since then. Maybe it just made it fun.
Yeah.
You know.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm hyped up to see it.
Hey, I got a quick announcement. We all were Cobra Kai fans.
Uh-huh.
They have pushed the premiere of season 3 from January 8th to January 1st, about the time this one's going to come out.
Yeah.
So remember that on Netflix, Cobra Kai has been moved up a week.
So when you're hungover New Year's Day, and you just want to lay on the couch for 9 hours, now you got some entertainment.
That's good.
Yeah.
And I hate to beat a dead horse because we're going.
Beat it.
We're going kind of late.
Beat that fucking
News
horse.
of the World, that new Tom Hanks movie. It
I
doesn't.
wouldn't watch that if I was poisoned and the only antidote was watching News of the World. I'd probably bite the bullet. That looks so fucking dull.
It does.
I've just got no desire to watch it, man.
So just remember this number. It delivered $1.1 million nationwide.
All those people wanted their money back.
Wonder Woman is not in. They are not disclosing that.
Oh, I'm sure the number's huge, but the amount of pissed off people is going to be big too.
It's so incredibly insane. Yep. Okay, well, are we doing James Bond or are we doing James Bond?
I don't know.
Are we ready to do James Bond, or am I going to get caught?
We got to. We can't put it off any longer.
We cannot put it. Yeah, because
if we're not doing it, I'm showing up next week and just talking about James Bond, even if you guys aren't.
fair enough.
Are you telling me that you're coming out of your cave, Lee? Are you coming out to play?
MGM is up for buy. You got.
Well, polish your fucking panties to the tune of 8 fucking billion.
How much savings you guys got?
Not enough.
Oh God.
I'll write him a check.
Hey,
I don't even have checks.
dude, I
haven't seen a check in fucking 15
you know what's
years,
funny
man.
Is if that was the case, I could walk in there and go, "Here, I'm going to write you a check. How much? I'm going to write you a check. Cash it in 20 years, and I got you." I could figure it out. You could figure it out. You could figure it out.
To the tune of 8 billion?
You could do
8
MGM
billion. I'm
streaming.
not saying 800 million. I said 8 billion.
If you cut the DVD purchases of the James Bond and put them on streaming for $10, you could. I promise. MGM's movie library is fantastic.
Here's all I'm hoping. It doesn't end up with fucking Disney.
That's all I want.
I don't
They
care.
Can't, they can't own John McClane and James Bond.
I mean, they're ruining everything right now in my eyes, with or potentially. And we got to stop them. We got to stop them. Don't you think?
Sure. Yes.
Call the protagonist.
Yeah, we need to.
Okay, and let's see if we can invert
Yes.
Disney's fucking monopoly on entertainment. That's what we need to do.
Could we possibly invert a couple of protagonists to go back to Wuhan, China, change the pandemic, cut that off, and then So then Bond played out, Wonder Woman played out, everything played out in the theater. None of this ever happened. I don't know, man. I'm telling you, MGM it's worth the money.
Oh, I'm not saying it's not.
Disney will never pick that up. It'll have to be Warner Brothers. And Warner Brothers is selling HBO. So, is there Universal? Where's Universal now? Like, where's Universal?
I don't
They're
know.
owned by NBC. Same company owns NBC.
Yeah, you're right. God, it's a nightmare. And then ABC is Disney with ESPN. Wow. I'm telling you, if they'll they'll take my check and give me about 20 years, man. I might be able to do it.
If I'm still alive in 20 years.
Right.
You know.
All right, James Bond coming finally.
That's where we're going next.
Yes.
Are you fucking sure?
Well, we're hoping that MGM releases the James Bond.
I mean, you've got to. God dang! I'm gonna have to polish up on all these fucking movies again. I watched every fucking James Bond movie available.
You guys want to do something else?
February of last year, or this year, early February, and it took me several weeks to finally get through the whole fucking set, and we never did Bond, and now we're gonna do Bond. Okay.
We can.
All right. I'm in.
We can do something
So we're doing
else.
it.
Oh, it's happening. How many episodes are we going to do? 10? 5?
I think that we need to do this. This is what I think we need to do.
Or just go by...
I think we need to do four. We need to do Doug's favorite, Lee's favorite, Garrick's favorite, and then our listeners' favorite.
That's the plan.
So we do 4 James Bond blocks, 4 weeks.
Okay.
January has 4 weeks in it.
Okay. I didn't know if you maybe wanted to go by by actors portraying Bond.
No, because we had already picked. I mean, I already know my favorite. Everybody already knows their favorite.
Yeah, that's true.
So what we'll do is we'll put something up on the Facebook page, your favorite Bond movie. And we'll put them all out there, and whatever is picked.
Okay, so
will be the extra week.
Let's go chronologically.
Okay.
By favorite. So, Lee, if your favorite is, from 1971, and Garrick, yours is from 2001, and mine's from 89, that's how we'll do it.
Okay.
Do you know what yours is right now? Is it like 9 o'clock? It feels like it's fucking 9 o'clock.
It actually wasn't too bad. It's only an hour and 13 minutes. All right, here we go. You know what? Let's sit on this. Let's let everybody. Let's leave it a cliffhanger. What do you think? Favorite Bond movies coming up in the month of January. You guys get to pick one too. Thanks for listening. Merry Christmas from everyone at Tales from the Video Store. Be sure to subscribe. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Spreaker, Google Play, and Apple iTunes. Again, have a safe and wonderful holiday from the boys at the video store.